Flack math! Give me some math and I'll give you some flack. Flack math!
We are going to talk about unit price. So, you know, when you go to Costco or King Soopers or something, and you've got, like you got a can of beans, which is maybe about this big, and then you got another can of beans, which is more expensive, but then you're like, wait a minute. Yeah, it's more expensive because there's more beans, but which is the better price? Which is the better price? And sometimes in King Soopers, on the price tag, it'll say the price for the can, but then it'll say price per ounce or something like that. And then you can compare as a shopper, they do the math for you. So you can say, all right, this is the better price per ounce. But if you only wanted just a little amount of beans, because you're not going to eat a bunch of beans, then it might be better to get the smaller can, even though it might not be a better deal. Okay. So if we were all looking at the best deal ever, we just go to Costco or something and buy everything in bulk. But then something, if you buy like milk in bulk, well, if you don't get through milk in time, you're going to be drinking rotten milk, right? So you got to be careful. So, so what we're doing is we're going to calculate the price per unit. And depending on what it is, then you can kind of make it. So for example, if a dozen eggs was $1.20, what is the price per egg? Do you know, Hunter? 10 cents, right? So 120 cents is $1.20. So if the price per egg, if it's a dozen eggs, that's 12. So 120 divided by 12 is 10. So 10 cents per egg. Okay. So that's what we're going to do today. All right. So we're going to do price per unit. Or unit price is basically price per unit. Oops, there's no T, there's no E on there. So let's just start with an example. Here's example one. Let's say cereal, 24 ounces. So this is a box of cereal. 24 ounces of cereal is $3.60. So usually the unit is not like a flake. If it's corn flakes, it's not price per flake. No, they don't do that. Okay, it's usually price per ounce. So how would you calculate the per ounce price for this cereal?
Would you divide it?
Yeah, what are you dividing?
24 divided by 360.
Okay.
Well, no. 24.
So it's those two numbers, but the order, it makes a difference.
360 divided by 24.
Right. So 360 cents. Well, I would convert it to cents because it's going to be under $1, right? Price per unit, price per ounce. So if you get confused on what to do, then you can always just write it out. So this is 24 ounces. 24 ounces over 360 cents, or 360 cents over 24 ounces. Okay, so now basically we have to make this into a 1. We want to go per ounce, right? So what do we have to divide this by? 24 to get 1 ounce. So this is divided by 24. Can anyone do that in their head?
No. 8.
How many times is 24 going to 36?
Not even.
1 time.
Mm-hmm.
And how many is left over? 12, which
Yeah.
is half of 24. So 1.5. What'd you get, Hunter?
I got 12.5.
So 15 is the price per ounce.
Where'd you
So 360. So watch this. 360 divided by 24, right? How many times is 24 going to 36? 1 time. And then you get 12 left over. 24 goes into 120 5 times. Exactly. So kind of a shortcut to multiplying by 5 is cut this in half and multiply it by 10. Or multiply this by 10 and cut it in half. 240 divided by 2 is 120. So 15. 15 cents per ounce. Now there's different ways you could do this. You could create a little proportion. If I want to say, okay, 24 ounces over 360 cents equals, I want 1 ounce over question mark. So, and how would you find that missing number? What do you do here? There's different options. Adeline?
Don't you do the fish method?
Fish method would work. So remember, the fish method is just multiply the only two diagonal things that you can. Since there's no number here, you can't multiply anything there. But you can multiply this. 1 times 360 divided by 24, which is the math we just did. And that equals 15. Okay?
You could do it either way.
You could do it either way. So this is just an equivalent fraction too. Like you can just reduce that fraction. If you reduce that fraction, 24 goes into both 24 and 360. Divide them both by 24 and you get 1 ounce and 15 cents. That's it.
Oh.
All right, let's see if you guys can do this one by yourself. All right, let's say we've got let's do this. Let's say we went 84 kilometers in 4 hours. So this is not a unit price, but we can simplify this. And usually, how do you calculate speed? Something per something.
Miles per hour?
Miles per hour, or if you're in Canada, it's kilometers per hour. So this isn't per hour, this is per 4 hours. So you do the math on your paper or in your head if you want to figure out what is the unit speed, or the better way to say the speed. Like when a police officer pulls you over, you can say, yeah, I was going 80 miles per 2 hours, which is really just 40 miles per hour. Okay? So figure that out. Anyone have it? You have it in your head? What is it?
Isn't it 21 kilometers?
21, that's right. Okay, so you could just reduce this fraction, 84 kilometers in 4 hours. We want it to get it to per 1 hour, right? So divide by 4, you get 21 kilometers per hour. Okay. So sometimes, now King Soopers does a great job of doing this math for you, but let's say you're really trying to save money and you need to figure out the unit price. You have to compare the unit price and stuff like that. Okay, so let's say that on the shelf, this cereal is, what did we say, 24 ounces is $3.60. And then another box, a different box, is 36 ounces for $4.50. Which one is the better buy? Well, usually it's the bigger one, right? That's usually the better buy per ounce or whatever. The bigger one's more expensive, but they usually save money the more you buy. But sometimes they trick you. So you have to do the math. So if I say you can buy an apple for 50 cents or 2 apples for $1.20, is that a good deal for 2 apples? No, you're paying more for apple. So see how they could trick you? Well, buy in bulk and I'll give them both to you for $1.20. Nice try. Nope. Okay, so which one's the better buy? Well, you could probably guess, but let's do the math. We had a similar problem with this when we did that magazine subscription. Remember on that last test we did? There's a magazine subscription, and which one's the better buy, buying at the stand or doing the subscription? Same kind of thing. You can either pay for the year or pay every month.
How many ounces?
So 24 ounces is $3.60. We already did that unit price. That was 15 cents per ounce. Now there's 36 ounces for $4.50, which is the better buy. So you can find the price per ounce for that 36 ounce box.
I can't do this in my head. 6.
Got it in your head? You know what the price per ounce for that bigger box is?
Is it? Oh, makes sense.
Now, you might get a decimal answer for price per unit price, okay? And that's okay, because you're not gonna just pay for 1 ounce of cereal. And a lot of times at King Supers, you'll have decimal, like price per ounce is like 10.25 cents. What'd you get?
I think 1.82.
1.18 price per unit?
I know.
That would be a really good deal, wouldn't it?
It's not that good.
What'd you get?
So, I multiplied 15 times 24
Okay,
to get the full, like if you're doing 15 cents per ounce to get the full thing.
uh-huh.
And for the, I got 360 for the 24. But for the 36, I didn't finish my row. 1 second.
So you're doing it a different way, which is fine, but I think it's easier to do the price per ounce on each one. So if it's 36 ounces cost $4.50, how do you figure out the price per ounce there? Did you get an answer?
I got an answer.
What'd you get?
I got 1.5.
Okay. For the price per ounce. Any other answers?
This was in my head. I
Okay.
got 12.18.
Close. What'd you get?
I got 15 instead of 1.5.
Oh, okay. So you got 15, well, 15 cents here. Let's figure this out. How do I set this problem up to figure out this price per ounce? How do I set that up? Hunter, what do I do?
Well, I was just gonna say the answer that
What'd you get?
I got somewhere around 17.5.
Okay. All right. So how do you set this up? 36 ounces for $4.50. How do you figure out price per ounce? What'd you do?
So what I did is I set it up like I set it up 450 above 36,
Uh-huh.
and then I did then I wanted to make 36 smaller, so I divided it by itself.
Okay. So we wanted to make that 1 ounce.
Uh-huh.
That's our goal, is the price per ounce. Do you have another answer?
No, I have how to solve it.
Okay. So then what'd you do next?
And then
So you divided it by itself.
so then the top one I needed to divide by itself. So
By
I
36, not itself, but
Oh, yeah.
36. Yep. Okay.
So I divided it by 36 and I got 12, and then I had a remainder of 18, which made no sense to me.
So okay, well, let's watch this. So you had 36. Let's just write it out into 450. That goes in one time. You subtract and you get 9.
Yeah, and then I dropped it down to 0.
Drop the 0. And 36 doesn't go into 90 evenly, but it goes in at least 2 times.
Yeah. Which is
2 times 36 is 72, and then you get 8.
Oh,
18.
yeah.
Okay, you got a remainder of 18.
Uh-huh.
So if I bring down another 0, now 36 goes into 180 5 times.
Oh.
So you can't you write your remainder just 0.18.
Right.
You can say remainder 18, which at this point, it's still a better deal than this. So if your end goal was to figure out which was the better deal, then you can stop right here. You don't have to get an exact decimal because 12 point anything is going to be less than 15 cents. Okay, so 12.5 cents per ounce. Okay, now that's not real money. It's either 12 cents or 13 cents, but we're not really paying for an ounce of cereal. If you're just eating an ounce of cereal every day, you need to eat more. Okay, what we're paying for, what we're trying to decide is which is the better deal. And I'm going to buy this box because cereal doesn't really go bad, at least not very quickly. So I'm going to buy in bulk. I'm going to buy because I know I love that cereal. If I was just trying out the cereal, I wasn't sure if I was going to like it, I'd probably buy the smaller box, even though I'm spending more money per ounce. But at that point, it's just a few cents, right? Yes. Uh-huh. So this is being a smart consumer. Do the math if it's not done for you. But like I said, a lot of times if you go to King Soopers, if you're shopping in the grocery store, it'll say price, unit price. So it tells you, it does the math for you. So you would say, well, why don't you always just want to buy the better unit price? Well, depends on if you want King Soopers brand or Kraft brand cheese. I don't know. So yeah, some products are going to be cheaper, but sometimes you get what you pay for, unfortunately. So if you just spend less money, you might be buying cheaper stuff. Okay, so that those are a couple, two examples. This leads into our next topic of what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about sales tax. So, tax. This is like almost a cuss word. Nobody likes to talk about tax. You know, we have to do our taxes soon. Oh, I just got a little depressed thinking about doing our taxes. But we have to pay the government for the money that we spend. And, you know, it's kind of like us. We're all doing our part to help pay for this country to continue to operate. And I'm all about that. But sometimes it's people talk about raising taxes and lowering taxes, and that's never really done. But when you pay sales tax, what does that mean? Grace?
You pay so much per thing you buy.
Yeah, so it's like a percentage, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for every dollar you spend, maybe you'll spend 9 more cents for every dollar you spend, or basically you're paying 9% sales tax, okay? So that word percent, you can take that literally. So 9%, so for every dollar that you spend, you're going to spend 9 cents on tax. Okay. So if shoes are $65, are you going to just pay the cashier $65? No, you're going to pay $65 plus a percentage of that $65 in tax. Okay. And the higher the price you pay for shoes or whatever, the higher the tax is. Okay. Yes.
Unless you're in Australia where they add the tax onto the price tag.
Yeah. Oh, they do that. And then Oregon is no sales tax. If you live in Oregon, you don't pay sales tax.
I want to move to Oregon.
Now, does that mean all the prices are the same in Oregon as they are here? No. They probably boost the prices just a little bit. I would if I was in Oregon. But yeah, pretty crazy. So let's try an example. Let's say that a bike is on sale at the bike store. Bike is marked. This is what it says on the price tag. $119.95 plus tax. Okay? So depending on what county you live in, the tax changes. Not a whole lot, but it changes. Let's say the tax is a nice simple rate of 6%. So let's see if you guys can do that. Let's figure out the final price of this bike. because it's not 120 bucks. Tax. Figure out tax of that, add it to the price, and tell me what I need to bring to the store. Okay? See if you can do it. Can't do this one in your head. Sorry. So try this on paper. Yeah, I'm going to show you a little shortcut. Well, it's not. It's a shortcut, but it is a little bit more math, I guess. So most of you will do this in two steps. So this is what I call longer math, because it's not one that you can just kind of do in your head and move on to the next problems. This is a process, and you're going to be getting more and more of that in your math classes. It's not just a one-step wonder problem. You just figure one thing out and you're done. Well, this is like math within math.
I don't know if I did this right.
Well, what's your final price?
199.9.
Oh, I'm not buying that bike. That's a lot of tax.
But I divided. I don't know why the number got bigger.
So when you find 6% of something, are you dividing?
I'm multiplying.
Multiple of means multiplication. So how do you find 6% of 119.95? Did you get an answer?
I got $19.99 plus like the extra stuff.
Okay, so $19. So is that what you got in tax?
Yeah,
Okay, so $19.
well, pretty much 20 because it ends in 99.
I feel like that's not
Okay,
right.
so it seems like a little high with tax, but you know.
I got 719.70.
790.
Yeah, I don't think I did that right. I'm thinking.
That's all right.
I think you multiplied that number, 120 times 6.
Okay, so, and that's right, you just probably put the decimal in the wrong place.
Huh?
So I think you guys are doing,
I know how to do it. Wait, I think I got it.
all right, what'd you get?
Is it $1.19?
For the
Bike?
for the tax,
Yeah.
and then what do you do to figure out the final price?
You add that to the thing.
Okay, so $1.19 seems like a 1%. So see how, if I took 1% of that, that would be $1.19. Okay, so this, I kind of threw you guys into the fire here.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on.
So let's just walk through this problem.
Okay, I know the answer. Hold on, let me just work through it.
Okay.
6% back.
Anyone else have an answer?
My brain is liquid.
That's a great way to describe you.
It's part liquid, I guess. I guess it's mostly liquid, isn't it? Like, aren't our bodies like,
I think it was like 90% water.
yeah.
Is it gonna be $127.09?
I think that's what I got. Yeah. Let's see what happened. So there's two steps here. What's the first step? In calculating the final price, what's the first? What'd you do first, Grady?
Well, I didn't do this first, but I got it from someone. So I divided, but you're supposed to multiply them. So don't you multiply, right?
It depends on what you're dividing, but what did you multiply? First step is, step one is what? Tell me in words what you need to do.
Something with the F.
119 and 95 cents times 6.
Okay, kinda. You could do that. So you have to find 6% of that price, right? Everyone agree on that? Step one is you have to find 6% of that price. Well, think about 6%. It's less than 10%. 10% of something. Do you know how to find the easy way to find 10% of something?
Just put the decimal.
Yeah, you're just finding 10%, that's a tenth. Okay, 6% is not a sixth, but a 10% is always a tenth. So 10% of $1 of $120 is $12. See how we did that? You just divide it by 10. Okay, but 10% of, you can change it to a decimal and multiply. So find 6% of 119.95. Now translate this into math. How do you say 6% in math?
6 100ths.
Yep, or 0.06.
Oh.
Remember changing percents to decimals?
Yeah.
You can just move the decimal over 2 places, or 6 over 100 works great. So what you did is you multiplied by 6 and then divided by 100. Because you converted it,
So,
well, you converted it to cents, and that's what dividing by 100 is. Okay, so how do you say of in math?
The dot.
Multiply,
Right.
okay, and then this one, that's just a number. So here's what Grady did. He multiplied by 6, but I'm going to multiply by 0.06, which is really the same math. The decimal is just going to end up in a different location. So 6 times 5, 30, carry the 3, 54, 57, 0. Oh, skipped it. 6 times 9 is 54, plus 5 is 59.
What?
Am I doing this wrong? 1 times 6. Oh, am I doing something wrong? No, I feel like that's right. 6 times 5 is 30. 54 plus 3 is 57. 54 plus 5 is 59. 6 plus 5 is 11. Okay, so where does the decimal go?
right between the 9 and the 1.
Yes, because look, there's 2 places here and there's 2 places there. So a total of 4 decimal places. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So that makes sense because literally that's the amount of cents that are not the cents. That's the dollar amount. So here's what I'm going to do. This is going to be, I'm going to round this to the nearest cent because that's what money is. So if that's $7.19, that 7 brings that up one more. So this is $7.20. This is the tax. That's not the price of the bike. So that was it. Remember your first price was $719
Yeah.
No. So you just put the decimal. So this is just the money that you add to your price. So that brings us to step 2. What's step 2?
How much was it?
Literally. Makes more sense.
Step 2 is adding it to.
Right. Add tax amount. So this is from step 1 to price tag. Okay. So 720 is added to, what is that? 119.95. Add these together, 5, 11, carry the 1, 17, carry the 1. The decimal comes straight down. When you add decimals, you just line them up and then bring it straight down. So that's our final price, $127.15. Okay? So you could have done a fraction. So you could have done it like this, where you just said, or 6 over 100 times 119.95. Okay, 6%. That's the same. Now you can also do 6% of 119.95 like that. Okay. Then when you multiply all this out, you basically get 719.7 over 100. When you multiply across, you get 719.7 over 100. So how do you divide by 100? How do you divide decimals by 100? What do? Move it over 2 places to the left. That's right. So then you get 7.197. Make that into money. So round it to the nearest cent. So that 7 makes that 9 go up 1. So that becomes a 720. Okay. So this is difficult. Now, usually what I do is tax is usually maybe around 10% at the most, usually. So it's easier to find 10%. So I estimate the price, and then when I check out at a store, I make sure that it's not too much by, okay, well, this price tag said $45 and you're charging me $60. Well, that's like 30% tax. I don't think that's right. So I do like $45 plus another $4.50. You see where I got $4.50? That's 10% of $45 is 4.5. So add another $4.50-ish, so it will be around $49.50. Okay? So do the math when you're checking out. I hate to tell you this, but there's people in the world that will try to just grab every last cent. Okay? And people who are dishonest, unfortunately. So make sure you are mathematically intelligent when you're buying stuff.
My brain moves.
So shipping and handling, all that kind of stuff, tax, when you order off of Amazon, just make sure you do the math. Like sometimes they have like, you buy like a little flash drive or something. It's on sale for $1.99 for 16 gig flash drive. Great. Shipping, $20.
What?
So you have to pay $21.99. That's where they get you. So you're checking out. Most people, unfortunately, don't look at the final. They say $1.99 plus a little tax. I'm fine. They don't account for the shipping that it doesn't cost to ship, but they can make shipping whatever they want. Your businesses can make shipping whatever they want. So be careful when you're doing math. Be mathematically intelligent. All right, I'm going to do one more thing, and then I'm done. Okay. And then I'm just going to talk about one more thing. But I'm going to do one more math problem that you guys are going to do with me. And then we're going to talk about one more thing. Okay. So let's go shopping for school supplies and figure out the total bill. Okay. Okay, let's say that we bought a book for $18.95. We bought a pen for $1.89.
One pen.
Yeah, it's a nice pen. We bought some paper for $2.29. Maybe it's the fancy graph paper. Okay, and then it's 5% sales tax. Let's figure out the final price. I kind of gave away the first step.
You add all those up.
Yeah, add them up and then calculate the total price plus tax, okay? So what do you need to bring to the store? I mean, you could just bring a credit card, but that's a whole other math calculation because you're paying interest on credit card if you don't pay your bill on time. Should we make this interesting?
Yes.
Should we I'll give a free problem set to the person who gets this right. Not necessarily the first person. To the person or persons who get this right, I'm going to give you a free problem set. Five % tax is almost as easy as 10% tax.
It's half of 10.
Yeah. Not quite. So remember, you're not going to be doing much division here.
Wait, I don't understand. Do you do it like that?
So you're not dividing. So you're finding 5%
Okay,
of
Mr. Flack, I think I have it.
Okay. So that wouldn't be the final price, right?
What is this the final price? Wait, are we just figuring out the tax?
The
final price.
Let's do
So the
a
final
better
price
rounding
plus
of that.
Oh, Mr. Flack.
Oh, you already turned it around. Okay, hold on to that. I won't tell you if you're right or not.
Okay, wait, I'm gonna work it one more time. Let me make this.
It's a lot of money for school. I'm not even going to go to school if I have to pay that much for that. So these are good. These life problems, like you can really tell if you're getting them right or not. Because that's the better. Because that's 6 things go on there. So that's right. So don't show anybody.
Oh, see, I'm gonna get it wrong because of that stuff.
Okay, hold on to that.
Wait, is this right?
Okay, hold on to that. I won't tell you if it's right or wrong from now on because if it's right, well, yeah. Anyone else have an answer? All right, so I got answers from almost all of you. You don't have to do it if you don't want to. I'm just feeling generous. All right. Did you get it? Are you doing it, Dylan? You still working?
I have two answers because I'm sure on everything else besides one small thing.
Do you have soup in that, or is it what is it?
It's thermos on the tray.
It's awesome.
I made a different answer.
You did?
Well, I have questions. Right? So right here. Okay, so my first answer was right. Wait, I think I answered.
So you already show me your answer.
That hurts.
Not quite. Where's the rest of it? Here, why don't you, so let's stop there. Did you change your answer?
Yes, kind of.
That's close. So that's the tax.
Oh.
So now, all right. So Dylan, why don't you walk me through it? What'd you do first?
I added them all together.
Added. So what'd you get when you added?
$23.13.
$23 and what?
13 cents.
13 cents. Okay. So then what'd you do?
Multiplied it
By what?
by 5.
All right. So 5%. So tax is 5% of the total, right? So if you multiply by 5, that's fine. Then you just have to figure out the cents later. So if you multiply by 5, then you get 15, 6, 15, 11. And then what do you do with that number?
Do you move the decimal point?
Yeah, where do you move it?
One way, that way.
Yeah, so where do I stop?
You go 4 spaces, right?
Yeah, so you can kind of stop whatever makes sense, right?
Stop.
Because if you stop there, you're not paying $1,000 of tax. If you stop there, you're not paying $100 of tax. Not even $11 of tax. You're not paying half the price of the total on tax. You don't do that. But right there makes sense. Okay, but what's the problem with this in the money world? What's the problem with that? Grace?
You can't really have 1,567 65th of a cent.
Right, right. So let's round it to the money. So money stops right there, right? So we're going to look at that. We're going to round this by looking at that 6. That 6 says go up, right? So that's $1.16. Now, if you don't want to worry about where to put the decimal, just do it this way. 5% is 0.05, right? Because this, you move the decimal over 2 places and it's 0.05. So when you multiply it by 0.05, you move the decimal 2 places plus 2 more, which is 4 decimal places. Boop, 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 boop. Okay? Or if you just multiply by 5 and then divide by 100, if you're multiplying by 5 over 100, that means you're multiplying by 5 and then dividing by 100. You can do that. You can multiply this whole thing by 5 and get 115.65. And then when you divide by 100, it goes over 2 places. You can do that too. Nothing wrong with that. So is this your final answer? $1.16?
That's why you have it taxed. You have to add it to the
So
actual.
now we add that to our price tag, which is $23.13.
And the answer should be $24.29.
Good job.
Yes.
All right.
I was 1 cent under.
Where are you?
Yeah.
You probably forgot to round the 15 to 16.
I got
Yep.
$24.28.
Yep. So that's who got that first? Oh, Marion got that first too. So just make sure you, because you're probably going quick. So you're just like, oh, a lot of people, what they round is they just drop off those decimals. You can't just ignore them because this is closer to 116 than it is to 115 because of that 6. So, but in the financial world, the retailers will always round up. If this was 1.151, they will always round up. Okay? Because someone has to pay for that 1,000th of a dollar. Okay? Someone has to pay for it, and it's not going to be the retailer. It's going to be you. Okay? And that's okay, because but it adds up after a while. So when you're dealing with money, banks, retailers, everybody will always round up because that money is there. It's being accounted for. Okay, so that's it for today.
Black man, give me some math and I'll give you some flack. Black man.